if you listen to the story and then also think about questions, we'll have an opportunity to talk about that too. But keep the hands down, listen to the story, and I'll open up the time for us to ask questions, okay? So, thank you. Tom? Welcome, please. Thank you.
Come exploring with me, Mr. Turner. Fellow scouts and guests, I'll take you on a journey that I took long years ago with some friends of mine. We found a mystery, and perhaps, just perhaps, I have a solution for the mystery. We traveled north from Reno. We traveled north through Spanish Springs Valley. We left the lights of Reno behind. There were no lights in Spanish Springs Valley then. We turned east to Pyramid Lake. Then we traveled north past the dim lights at Sutcliffe, north through Sand Pass. Then we turned east along the edge of the Smoke Creek Desert, east past the old Bonham Ranch, east to Buffalo Creek. At Buffalo Creek, we turned north to the old Buffalo Meadows Ranch, the old Buffalo Meadows stage station. From there, we turned west, up Parsnip Wash. At the end of a long, hard, rocky road, we crossed the divide, and there was Painter Flat, glowing in the moonlight before us. Off to the right, far off to the right, was the old Painter Ranch. We didn't go there. There were three of us. I was driving my pickup truck. My father was sitting near the passenger door. Between us was my good friend Wally. We turned south. We took the old track towards Mixie Flat. A few miles down the old, rough, rutted road, my friend Wally jabbed me in the ribs, and he said, "Over there." And I saw a big grassy flat alongside the road. I found a way to get out of the rugged desert road, pulled over in the middle of the flat, and killed the engine. We sat quietly while the desert breeze carried the dry alkaline dust down the long canyon towards the distant Smoke Creek Desert. When the air was clear, we got out. We stretched our muscles, cramped and tired from the long ride from Reno. We took a few minutes looking at the gorgeous desert sky. Thousands of brilliant stars shining in the velvet black sky. Then we made a quick camp because we knew that the next day was going to be a long, hard hike. Dad stayed in camp, but Wally and I left camp at dawn. We came back to camp at dusk. We were famished. We devoured the fine camp dinner that my father had prepared for us. And while we ate, we hunkered down in the dirt and we drew maps in the dirt. We told my father everything we had found: flowing springs, hidden seas, wild horses, deer, antelope, flocks of sage-hen, chukar partridge. At noontime, we ate our lunch, hanging our feet over a 50-foot rim rock cliff. We watched the desert shimmering in the heat waves from the hot sun. We watched eagles soar high up on a draft. We told my father about all the things we had found, things that are important to a man who loves and works in the desert. But there was tension. My father was edgy. I could tell that there was something bothering him, and I couldn't tell what it was. And when Wally and I had finished our talk, when we told him everything we wanted to, Dad said, "Guess what I found?" So we guessed. Arrowheads, a hidden spring, no, an old gun, no, bones, a hidden Indian camp, We weren't right on everything. And finally Dad said, this. And he held up a rusted picket pin. In the early days, when the cowboy was out away from the home ranch, working cattle, and he had to camp at night, he took his picket pin and he drove it down into the ground until only this bale was showing. Then he tied his horse's reins to the bale, and the horse could graze in a big circle without running away. His horse would be there in the morning. But here's the mystery. Why was this picket pin left in the middle of a grassy flat? And why was the bale broken? We guessed that maybe the horse had been frightened. And he reared back on the reins and broke the bale and ran off. Left the cowboy there in the picket pin. We guessed at what might have frightened the horse. A rattlesnake? We didn't think so. Coyotes? Probably not. A mountain lion? Very, very likely. But when we slept that night, we still didn't know. We hadn't guessed what we thought might be the solution to our mystery. We went home the next day, and Dad took the picket pin with him, and he put it in his collection of desert treasures. It's my picket pin now. It was long years before I found what I think is the solution to that mystery. I was reading old newspapers, studying the history of northern Washoe County, and the headline caught my eye. Billy Painter killed by Indians. And the story in the newspaper told the story of Billy Painter. He was out working cattle for his ranch. Painter what? Painter Ranch. It began to come together. One day his horse came back to the ranch, unsaddled, dragging his reins in the dust. The ranch hands immediately saddled up and went looking for Billy to find out what had happened. They found his camp. He had been killed by Indians. The story told much more, but I was excited because of what it told. Billy Painter camped away from his ranch, and his horse came back. And that made sense to us, because if the horse was grazing and the Indians attacked, it would have frightened the horse. The horse would rear back on the rein and run back to the camp. And yes, the ranch crew would have found Billy's camp. They would have cleaned up everything. But they could have easily missed the picket pin, hidden in the grass. And for years it stayed there, baking in the desert sun, freezing in the winter snow, waiting there in the desert for modern explorers to find it, and take it home, and add it to their desert treasure. And yet, I really wonder, well, is this really the picket pin for Billy Painter's last camp? I wonder. I wonder, Mr. Turner. I wonder. Do any of you have any questions you'd like to ask? I'm going to start back there because he had his hand up first. Stand up and speak up so I can hear you.
Is your dad still alive?
No, my dad is long gone now, but I still have and treasure the picket pin. Question here.
How old were you when this happened?
Well, I guess that I was probably about 35, something like that. Question here.
Did it really happen?
Did that really happen? Well, let's see. It happened about 50 years ago. And as well as my memory fits, it all happened. Yes, sir.
Did you write a book about it?
I can't hear you.
Did you write a book about it?
No, I've written up the story But I have some other books I'm working on. This one will come later on. You have a question here? Yes, you right there.
Me?
Yes.
Did
Go ahead.
you find it?
What's that?
Did you find it?
No, my father found it.
Then he gave it to you?
He gave it to me when he died, yes. Question here? Yep, well, it looked away from me, go ahead.
How old do you think the picket pin is?
How old do I think this picket pin is?
Yes.
Oh, I guess maybe 110 or 115 years, something like that. A question over here?
Did you used to be a Boy Scout or?
Yes, I was a Boy Scout. We'll talk about that in a minute. Question here? I scared the question away. Get the bookcase back there.
Did you ever use the picket
I
pen?
can't hear you.
Did you ever use the picket pen?
Did I ever use a picket pin?
Yes.
No, I wasn't a cowboy and I never was out away from the ranch, so I didn't use it. Red shirt here?
When did your dad die?
He died in 1992. You remembered your question?
Yeah, do you know if Wally's still alive from that story? Wally?
Is Wally still alive?
Yeah.
Yes. My wife is back there and we had dinner with Wally about a month ago.
Oh.
I want to mention one thing. I've never been back to the grassy flat. I've been 30, 40, 50 miles away from it. I always intended to go back, but I didn't. But I can't go back today. I have to have this to help me walk, and I can't walk in the desert. And we always had a rule. We never went any place in the desert unless we were sure that we could walk out for help if we had to. Well, I can't walk, I can't go there, but that's all right. Because you here have young legs. You could go explore the desert in my place. As I look out here tonight, I see more than most people see. Most people see a compact, okay, a compact. I see something more. I see eaglets, possible young Eagle Scouts. This is the ribbon and the badge that I wore when I was president of the Eagle Scout Association of the Nevada Area Council of Boy Scouts of America. One of our pleasures was to go and help award Eagle badges to scouts who would achieve Eagle awards. Now look out here tonight, and I hope that some of you will follow the trail of the eagle and earn the right to wear this badge. And if you do, I would be proud and honored to be invited to attend your Eagle Report of my own. Mr. Chairman.
So how much time do you have? Because we have a few eagles coming up the ranks. We'll be taking you up on that offer.
If you call me, I will come.
All right. Very good.
I beg your pardon?
Do you have some time for some more questions?
Oh, surely, if you have questions, I have.
Okay.
I've got lots of answers, I just hope they go with your question. Over here.
What was your Eagle project?
I got my Eagle badge in 1943. We didn't have Eagle projects then.
Okay.
They come in later.
So what did you do, or how did you, what did you have to do at that time to earn your Eagle rank?
There were two things. One of the same you have today, you had to earn the merit badge. The other thing, you had to work actively in your group and show leadership. We didn't have the Eagle project.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How old were you when it happened?
I'm sorry?
How old were you when you found the picture?
I think I answered that before. I was in my middle 30s, as I recall. Yes, sir.
Why did you guys go out in the desert?
I don't know. We just love it out there. We like to go. We like to see the fresh air, the storms that you see, the friends that you meet out there, the things that you find. It's just something that comes from the heart, I guess, that we like to go out there. Yes, sir.
What about that flashlight on the...
I don't know anything about the flashlight.
What this was for me to bring, and I requested that the leaders contact all you guys, and if you had any memorabilia, to bring it along, and we could share it, okay? And when I heard that Tom got his Eagle rank in 1943, it got my curiosity up to wonder what happened in 1943 here in Reno, Nevada, what have you. And down the street, we took a walk one evening, and this young man came out, offered me this flashlight, said he was giving it to his parents in 1943 as a Boy Scout. So he wanted me to have it knowing that I was a Scout leader. And then as we've gone through this very hat, these are cool hats. This is what used to be the Boy Scout uniform hat. I have vivid memories and a picture of my older brother with his backpack and his uniform wearing this hat, or this hat similar to this, I mean. And I so wanted to be able to go on a camp out with him as a Boy Scout. And they went out to the desert as well. So this stuff up here, this is an old uniform. Tom, can I ask, were you ever a Cub Scout or did you join in Boy Scouts?
We did not have Cub Scouts when I grew up.
Uh-huh.
I went directly to Boy Scouts.
Directly into Boy Scouts.
And what kind of uniform did you have?
Very similar to what your leaders have today.
Oh, wow.
But our hat was a Smokey Bear hat.
Very cool.
We have some other questions here. We have a leader's question back there.
How many were in your troop?
Well, that depended. At the time I left the troop to go into the Navy, there were about 30 boys in the troop. We had a large troop. The gentleman in the blue sweater.
What was your favorite merit badge?
My favorite merit badge?
Yep.
Camping. Because we got to go out in places, and we got to do all the things you had other places. Of course, the other ones had the cooking. We had hikes out away from our camp. And the cooking, of course, that was always nice. But I would say that camping was my favorite merit badge. We have some boys' questions here, over here.
Why did you never go back?
Why didn't we ever go back? We never got around to it. This tells you something. Don't put things off. Do them while you can. I wish we had gone back. But that's something I have to look back to now. Question over here. Yes.
Okay. I actually have two questions. One, how old were you when you got your Eagle?
Well, let's see.
I didn't think we were gonna stump you. You're right on, memory and everything.
Well, I was 16 or 17, something like that. I didn't join Scouts until I was 14.
Wow.
Very cool.
Question here.
What was the name of your other thing that went with you in the desert?
I didn't catch all of that question.
He wanted to know what the name of your friend was that was with you when you...
The other,
That was Wally.
not the other.
One with me was Wally, my friend from college. The other was my father. So there were three of us. I was driving, my father was at the door, Wally between us. So we have a question here.
How old did you have to be a scout instructor?
At that time, you had to be 12 years old. Back there? Yes.
When were you born? How were you born?
When was I born? 1926. Question back here. You speak up, I can't hear you.
What kind of, like, things you go into,
I'm sorry, I couldn't
like
hear
a
that.
wolf and
Gotta use your outdoor voice. He can't hear you. I can't barely hear you either. Are you talking about Cub Scouts?
no.
Boy Scouts? Okay.
Oh,
You wanna come over here, Zane, so we can hear you? There you go.
Like, did you have different ranks back then too?
Well, your Eagle Scout was the top rank. You were 10-foot, second class, first class, Star, Life, and Eagle. And then after that, you could get Eagle palms. Every time you got 5 merit badges, you could get a palm. And I got 2 palms before I went into the Navy. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Okay, do we have any other questions? I'm gonna get this new man here first. Go ahead.
Were you ever in a war?
Speak up.
Were you ever in a war?
Were you in the war?
Yes, I was in the Navy for a year and a half. I was an electronics technician. You know what that was? You know what radar was? Okay, I fixed the radar sets. Here again, speak up.
Who were you in like a war or something?
Did you catch that?
No, say it again, I'm sorry.
What kind,
He was in the Navy.
He wants to know who you fought with the war.
Well, who did you fight in the war? Is that what you're saying? Oh, okay.
No, all the time I was in the Navy, I was in the United States. I never got farther than the shoreline. Question back here.
What troop were you in? What was your troop number?
Troop 6.
Okay.
That over on the LDS church on, what's the name? Drive up there,
Imperial Boulevard?
Imperial Boulevard?
over on Imperial Boulevard in Reno.
Well, that kind of
Well,
answers my
that's only
question.
one of the troops I was in. I've been in lots of other troops.
Okay. So, my understanding is you've been around Reno most of your life?
I was born and raised here.
Born and raised here, native to Reno.
Okay, do we have any other questions? We have one here.
did you get to shoot anybody?
Did you get to shoot anybody?
No, I didn't do that. I was in the United States all the time. Sometimes I like to shot at people, but I don't. Question here.
He was
I live in Reno. I was born and raised here in Reno. Still live here. Went to the Reno school and graduated from the University of Nevada. Well, we got, these questions seem to be growing here. We got some of them back
how
there.
are you doing? You holding up okay?
I'm surviving.
Okay.
Question back
I
there.
have 2 questions. What war were you in? There's no war.
He wasn't.
He wasn't in the war. If you
He
listen.
stayed in the United States. He was wondering what war was going on when you went into the service.
That was the Second World War.
World War
Started
II.
after Pearl Harbor.
My second question, where were you stationed at? Were you in, when you were in the Navy?
Where were you stationed at here in the States?
Well, I went to boot camp in San Diego. I went to Chicago for some of my radar training, and then down to San Francisco Treasure Island for some of it. Let's try to keep our questions here more to scouting in the desert. rather than too many personal things about me. Question here. I didn't hear that.
Were there very many scout troops in Reno back then?
I think there were 6. 6 in Reno and 2 in Sparks. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, you. You have a question? Okay, Gabriel.
Okay, over here.
Let's get Gabriel.
Sure.
In Boy Scouts, what patrol were you in?
Oh, I was in lots of different patrols. I don't remember the names of them. I'll mention here just in passing. Twice I've been to the National Jamboree, at the first Jamboree after the Second World War, now of course Pennsylvania. Then I took a group of boys up to the one at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Then back here in the blue sweater,
Yeah, you answered my question. Actually, I was gonna ask if you'd ever been to a national jamboree, but while I'm at it, did you have any sons that were in scouts?
I had 3 sons who were in scouts.
And did they make Eagle?
One made life, one made Eagle, and the other was probably first class now.
Nice.
Because I told them something, I'll mention this to you. I told them then, I wanted them to get their Eagle badge. But I couldn't do it. It had to be them. And if you didn't have enough drive in yourself to be an Eagle Scout, then you were not entitled to the badge.
Right on.
Okay, we have a question back there.
Me?
Yes, you.
Okay. Have you ever been in another desert besides the deserts in Nevada?
I couldn't.
Have you ever been in any other deserts beside the deserts in Nevada?
Oh, yes, I've been in lots of different deserts in Nevada. I've been in deserts up in Idaho and Oregon. They're all the same, they're quiet. But do we have any other questions here? If not, I know you have other things to go on.
Okay. How about we get take 2 more questions. Did you remember yours? What is that?
Did you ever use a flashlight?
Oh, did you ever use a flashlight like this one?
No, we had those, but I never had occasion to use them. Question here.
What were some of the names of the books you
Well, I've written a book. Most of my books have been history books up and down the Truckee River. My grandfather helped to start the natural ice harvest along the Truckee River, and I've been researching that, and I've written articles and things about it. And I'm working on a couple of books now too. My wife was asking me, when are you gonna finish your book? Do you have any other questions? I've got.
Okay. I have, if I could interrupt here a minute, we've had a